Hi, and welcome back to Box Office Maniacs. And tonight I have a special one for you. This is a weird one, but I think you guys will probably like it if you're Stephen King fans, or if you're just a fan of reading in general. So last year for Horror Month, and for those new people here who don't know what Horror Month is, well, Vince and I, every October, we review nothing but horror movies for the entire month of October. And last year we actually did 30 reviews, so we did a review a day for the entire month of October. And this October will be no different. We're going to be bringing you Horror Month 2017 just in a few months. But I'm not here to talk about Horror Month. What I'm here to talk about is last year for Horror Month, on Halloween, we reviewed Carrie, the movie Carrie, the original one. Because Scream Factory had released a special edition of the movie, so Vince and I reviewed it for, like I said, Halloween last year. And up until that point, I had never read Carrie. I know, it's weird, but it's one of the Stephen King books I have never read. So I got the audiobook of it and listened to the whole entire thing and loved it. I just loved it. I thought it was so cool. Even though I'd already seen the movie dozens of times, there was something about the book that, even though I knew it was going to happen, I still loved it. It was one of those, you're waiting for it to happen, and when it does happen, you're like, oh wow, that's so cool. Because he changed a lot of stuff, obviously, from the book, from the movie, and there was a lot of things in the book that wasn't in the movie, and it was a great book. So last week, somebody at my job came up to me and said, hey, it was either they went to a garage sale or somebody they knew went to a garage sale or something like that, and they picked up a bunch of Stephen King books. And they wanted to know if I was interested in any of the Stephen King books. And I'm like, sure, what do you got? So she showed me a list of books they had, and I chose Skeleton Crew, Pet Sematary, and Carrie. So they brought in the books a couple days ago, and this is the book that she brought in, which is Carrie. Now, if you are a Stephen King fan or know anything about Stephen King, you take a look at this and you will know exactly what this looks like. And this looks like the first printing of Carrie. I mean, literally, this is what it looks like. When it came out, this is it. This is the book that was in the stores in 1974. So she gave that to me, and I was super excited. I mean, I was like, is this the first printing? And she says, yeah, I think that is the first printing. But you take a look at this, and I'll look at it, of course, right here in a few minutes in more detail. As I went to go and look into this more carefully, I found out actually it is a first printing. However, it's not a first printing. And you might be asking yourself, well, what are you talking about? At least this is what I think, and that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. Is if I'm wrong, I hope a Stephen King fan who watches this will let me know if I'm wrong about this. But I think I am correct because I did some research on the internet about what this actually is. Alright, so what this is a Doubleday Book of the Month Club book. And what that is, I'm assuming, because I've never sent away for them, but I know they used to have them, or they probably still do. It's mostly probably all digital now, so they probably don't have companies that do this anymore. So back in the day, they used to have these advertisements in magazines to where it was something like you spend $1 and they send you like 15 books or something. You get to choose a whole list of books they send you. And then after that $1, then like every month they send you a new book. And I believe that's what this is. It did come out in the same time frame, 1974, which I will show you. And but there's things about this that, while researching, and again, this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this, in case somebody finds this and picks it up or is looking for first editions of like Stephen King books, I'll show you what to look for so you will know if it's a first edition or if it's something like this, which is a Book of the Month Club book. So they send these books out to your house, and I guess, they published this at the same time, like I said, that the original book came out. But this book was never actually in the store. It came from like the Book of the Month Club edition, whatever, and that's what this is. However, this is still really cool because I have never owned Carrie. This is the first time I've ever actually owned Carrie, and to have it in this form of, the original cover, the slipcover, and to see what it originally looked like when it first came out, I think is pretty freaking cool. I will show you why this is not the original, even though it's still, I believe, a first printing, and if it's not, and if you know what this is, maybe it's a reprint or whatever. I have no idea. And if you guys know, please leave messages in the comments and let me know what this is. Okay, so if you are in the market to buy Carrie, or if you're just in the market to actually look for one to sell yourself, this is what you look for on this book, so you know it's a first edition. First thing you look for is you open up the dust jacket, and in the corner here, up on the top, right up in here, should be $5.95 is what this thing cost back in the day. I believe it's either on the top or the bottom. Now this is the real important thing to look for, where it says copyright 1974 by Stephen King. And that's what this says, so when I got this for the first time, I thought it was a first edition. However, it has to say first edition on this page someplace, and this does not. It just says copyright 1974. There is no first edition anywhere on this page. On page 199, on the inner margin, there should be a code of P6. And there is no code, and I don't want to show you the book because it's the end of the book. But here's page 199, and there is no code on here that says P6. Now this also says the binding is a full maroon colored cloth, which means that the binding is all done in the same fabric with no colors or materials around the spine. And it should have the gold lettering like this does on the spine. The end papers, which are called as this right here, should be black, which it is. Now, if you find a book that has all of those things in it, then you have the first edition of Carrie. So, congratulations. Here is the actual back of the book, and it just kind of tells you, obviously, what the book is about. It says, Stephen King's story will stun your sensibilities, jangle your nerve endings, and make you wonder even more. And it's a really great picture of Stephen King. Very fashionable. Here he is on the back cover. Yep, with his white shirt or white jacket, and I have no idea what's going on with that shirt. But oh yeah, that's the picture he posed for. So can't really live that one down, Steve. So there you go. It's pretty cool, right? Again, I'm just really happy to own this, even though it's not a first printing, or at least not the one that was in the store. Or at least I don't think it was, or I don't know what it is, to tell you the truth. But it's still cool to really own what it looked like in 1974. So I think it's awesome. And as a big Stephen King fan I am, I have a lot of his original books that when they came out, I bought them like day one. But of course, I never thought they'd be worth anything. Now, if this was an original first printing, like it says, first edition on it and all that stuff, is worth between $1,000 to $1,700. So if you have one of these laying around, or if you know somebody who has one of these, you might say, hey, can I borrow that for, ever and not ever give it back? And if it was a first printing, I would be on a plane over to Maine and be outside of Stephen King's house saying, hey, could you come out and sign my book? One way or another, I would have gotten Stephen King to sign this if it had been a first printing, because who knows, I don't know what his signature is worth, but I'm sure it would skyrocket the price on this thing. Even this, in this condition, with his signature on it, it might be worth even more than what this is worth. And I looked it up, and it goes anywhere between $40 to $80. I guess just depending on the condition of the book. And it's in really pretty good condition, but I probably won't sell it because, it's Stephen King and it's Carrie and it's his first book, and I don't think I would be able to sell it. So I hope you liked tonight's episode, and if you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button so I can bring you more first edition Stephen King books. I wish. And like I mentioned, Horror Month is coming up. It's only a couple months away, and Vince and I are we're actually working on it right now. We're working on it pretty hard, getting some reviews already recorded for Horror Month, because it's going to be a big one this month. So hopefully you guys return for that, and just return for everything else we're doing on this channel, because you guys are super cool and you've been leaving so many great comments, and I can't wait to read your comments about this. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so we can see you next time on Box Office Maniacs.